so I had posted on Instagram a picture, one of my favorite pictures of Indrani, because I miss her like all get out. Mm-hmm. Even if I wanted to go to Calcutta right now, I can't. You know why?
Coronavirus.
No. Mm. Well, yes, indirectly. They won't, my e-visa from last year, I have to renew it. India isn't giving e-visas to foreigners until April. So even if you wanted to go to India right now, you can't.
Oh, wow.
Unless you were a foreign national could go, but not a foreigner. So yeah, I can't even, we couldn't even get there if we wanted to.
So you'll be totally apart for a whole year.
Shh, don't remind me. It's moving on an actual year
Yeah,
that
it
we've
is.
been apart.
It'll be almost a year here soon. Sorry. Hey, welcome back to our stupid reaction to some Corbin.
I'm depressed.
I hope you're in the mood to have a reaction now.
Yes!
And he falls on
Instagram, Twitter.
Juicy content.
It's so juicy.
Ring that.
Oh my baby.
Personal YouTube channel, links in the description below.
You know what? Did you know, can you guys see he's over here the whole time, looking over our shoulder? Did you know, Sartaj? Ranveer? Yeah, what's up with you, Sartaj? Ranveer's a buddy now.
He's a dost.
He's watching us like a hawk.
He's my dost.
Ah. Where's Shahid, man? Does Shahid feel jealous that Ranveer gave you a shot?
Sometimes.
I think he should a little bit.
Yeah.
And Rithik, I mean, you've worn his underwear.
That's true.
Man, all these bromances you've got going on.
It's true.
Yeah.
He's doing this thing with Beardo. I think it's like a beard company of his.
Beardo?
I think it's like a shave company of his.
Whose?
Rithik's.
It's called Beardo?
Or at least he's he's the face of it.
The face of Beardo?
Yeah, I think it's like a razor.
A razor trimmer
or something
thing.
like that. But looks hot. This is how Rahman scored Bombay. So I think we'll get a little behind the scenes.
How-to behind the scenes. Awesome.
So this is video tries to break down how Rahman uses music and the possible thoughts behind composing the music.
Awesome.
Oh, sorry. This is not. Sorry, I don't want to give you false. We've reacted to this channel before, like what we do with Swaits. Same channel. He's breaking down how
he's breaking down how the composition.
Yeah,
is
it's
done.
not Rahman.
Oh, got it. He's doing a breakdown of the genius of Rahman's score and the way it was used.
Yes.
I thought we were getting it in the studio.
I didn't want you to
thank you.
Be thrown off there. But we've actually got quite a few from this channel. I think he's very good. He usually has very informative.
Yeah, very insightful.
Stuff. He did something on actors that we liked and we would have loved it. And it's actually a really good debate. What he brought up there. But this is a little video for him. Yeah, Bombay soundtrack, one of the best. Oh, I can hear the song now.
If you are a fan of Rahman, you've heard this.
I have.
That's the title theme from Mani Ratnam's Bombay, the first thing we hear as the movie opens. When the theme moves into its fifth measure, we hear this. This is not the part of the Bombay theme, it's a different background score. Rahman contrasts the melodic title theme with this percussion-heavy violin music. The tonal contrast between the two themes sets up the emotional core and the conflict of the film. Rahman and Mani Ratnam's intricate use of music and visuals for this picture present a compelling case study to understand how the use of music elevates storytelling. But first, let's catch up on some music terms: theme, motive, and leitmotif. A theme is a central melodic subject of a composition containing all the developed musical information. All the tones and instrumentation are in place.
That threw me off for a second.
Totally. Why are we playing that?
On the other hand, is the smallest piece of musical composition that contains thematic information. A motive forms the backbone of a theme. Beethoven's Fifth Symphony probably contains the most recognizable motive. That's the motive. 3 short notes followed by a long one. This motive then develops into this theme.
Keep playing.
A leitmotif, a concept developed by Richard Wagner, is a motive that directly represents either a specific character or a thing or a place or an idea within the story. This piece that you're hearing is called Ride of the
Yes!
It's a leitmotif that represents the 8 Valkyrie
was
sisters
crazy.
of Brunhilde.
Wagner.
It is one of almost 100 leitmotifs from Wagner's epic opera, The Ring of the Nibelung. Each leitmotif represents either a character, or a thing, or a place, or an idea. For example, this is the leitmotif for The Ring.
Also written in 9/8.
This is the leitmotif for Siegfried.
Almost like the one in Star Wars.
Very much.
And this is the leitmotif for the Valkyrie. This bit of musical innovation by Wagner found its way into Hollywood films in the late 1940s. And they work in movies exactly the way they work in operas. Take Star Wars for example. John Williams prevalently used leitmotifs.
It's an emotional reaction out of every American. That. The Skywalker theme.
This is the Force theme, introduced in The New Hope. In The Empire Strikes Back, William plays this theme every time the
Emotional
Force is in
reaction,
contention.
Always. Yoda's theme.
In the same way, this theme represents the romantic
this is
relationship
gorgeous.
between Leia and Solo.
I'll talk to Lando. See what I can find out.
Great improvisation here.
This theme represents the Empire.
Yeah! It's really sad that Indians didn't grow up with this.
Williams weaved these themes together to enhance the dramatic events with the help of the associative power of these leitmotifs. This has become a staple method for scoring blockbuster films to this day. We have seen this in Bond movies,
Bond.
James Bond.
James Bond.
in Lord of the Rings,
Oh.
and in The Dark Knight.
Yes!
But when it comes to India,
We don't do that here.
although similar in ways, Indian and Western classical music differs in some key areas. The most important of which is the absence of harmony in Indian
Irfan.
classical music, in both Hindustani and Carnatic. Instead, we have melody. In simple terms, we play one note at a time. At an abstract technical level, the idea is to emulate human voice with various instruments.
Ravi Shankar.
So in any Indian classical music performance, you will see a lead instrument or a vocalist that plays or sings the melody. A percussion instrument provides rhythm, and a tanpura provides the timing for the
I
melody.
do believe that was
Now before I move any
Ricky
further, let me put a
Father.
yeah, his
disclaimer.
dad.
What I just explained is probably the most simplistic explanation of both Western and Indian classical music. Both the schools of music are super complicated, and I don't have it in me to explain it in a 10-minute video. So please hold on to the basics. But the sad thing is, we hardly hear Indian classical music in our pictures anymore. These songs that we all proudly call Indian music are actually Western pop songs with Hindi lyrics. But that's a whole other discussion. Let's get back to the topic. The central melodic characteristic of Indian classical
back to
music
that now.
allowed songs instead of
blocked.
background score to become
I
a
think it gave us
fundamental
a strike.
part of cinematic storytelling in Indian culture. So you can have a melody playing as a piece of a background music.
कल शाम को बर्न से ट्रेन मिलेगी हम कल सुबह 8 बजे की पहली बस पकड़ेंगे मेरे सब पता
Which can eventually become a song independent of its associative nature. Now there are different ways to use music in movies. The two I have explained here are the most popular and widely used methods in respective cultures. Rahman, being the student of the medium, understood the inherent merit of both these methods and applied them to compose the score of Bombay. So when we get the first song of the film, it works as an expression of Shaila Banu's feelings. Listen carefully to the rhythm in this section. As the story moves ahead and Shekhar tries to draw Shaila's attention by stalking her, we hear this melody from Shaila's point of view. Now the same melody is then vocalized from Shekhar's point of view when he gets to know her name.
Nice observation. Really nice observation.
In the very next scene, Rahman plays the same melody with the rhythm section from the previous song. And with the inclusion of the female voice, Rahman musically portrays both the characters' interest in each other. Because of the religious difference, the relationship is most likely to be doomed. The eventual tragic nature of this relationship becomes apparent the moment Shankar confesses his love for Shaila. This melody then leads into this song. Both the melody and the song from now on acts as a leitmotif for the relationship filled with constant hardship. We hear it again when Shekhar expresses his desire to marry Shaila.
That always bothers me.
When Shekhar heads to Bombay, leaving Shaila behind. And when she elopes to Bombay. Remember this first song? Rahman uses this melody as a leitmotif for Shaila every time she feels squeezed between her love for Shekhar and obligation towards her family. Once in this scene, and then in this scene. Notice how this leitmotif moves into a different leitmotif. This is not the first time we hear this piece. Rahman introduces this percussive rhythm in this scene. It develops further here. Although fragmented, this theme acts as a leitmotif for the conflict between the Hindu and the Muslim families. So every time there's a friction on screen between them, it is accompanied with this leitmotif, like here. And then here. Then it repeats when the two tries to do business with each other. When Shaila gets pregnant and the news reaches back home, Narayanan visits Bashir. Notice the music when they quarrel. Yes, there is no music. Visually, they might be fighting with each other, but the leitmotif that represents the conflict between them no longer exists. It prepares the audience for their eventual coming together as a family. However, religious conflict across the nation becomes apparent. So this leitmotif is then transferred and brought into its fully developed form when the first religious violence takes place.
Yeah, now it's just full throttle.
This is the same theme that we heard in the opening credits. Now, if this theme represents religious violence, there must be a theme that represents religious harmony. And Rahman introduces a fragment of that theme in this scene. It plays again when Bashir saves Narayanan from the young mob. Just like how the theme of violence transfers from the family conflict to the city conflict, Rahman extrapolates the theme of harmony to be representative of the city.
Yeah.
The film proceeds from one theme to the other, traversing family and the city conflict. As the climax approaches, the theme of harmony finally comes to its fruition with the fundamental techniques of music composition like melody, motive, leitmotif, Rahman develops both the musical and the metaphorical themes of the film. From a melody composed with flute and vocals at the courtship stage, to forming a relationship with dire consequences underscored with the melancholic theme, leading to a violent, percussive theme expressing religious conflict, to a wishful resolution of that conflict with a theme expressing hope and harmony. Rahman walks us step by step from the micro to the macro vision of the film. If the film had no dialogue, we would still understand the emotional beats only through its music. That's the brilliance of Rahman and Mani Ratnam. And this is not an extraordinarily new concept either. As mentioned earlier, this technique has been in use for almost a century in cinema, but not a lot of composers and directors have been able to perfect it. The usual examples keep popping up in the discussion. It's high time we bring Rahman's work in Bombay among those examples. So the next time you watch a film, notice the use of music. Because in most cases, it's not just the quality, but the use of that quality music is what elevates storytelling.
Stop indulging in Hindu
Muslim nonsense from the 21st century. That I always get emotional when I hear the fourth movement of Beethoven's Ninth.
Oh yeah?
Always.
Yeah, very good video, very good observations about it, and A.R. Rahman is absolutely in the same conversation with Hans Zimmer and who's that other one? John Williams. And many others of the greatest composers of all time for film.
Yeah, and most composers are still doing that, and they work hand in hand. And the primary thing they do is this kind of thing. They don't always do it that same way, where you have a theme and a motif, and then you have some other smaller motifs. It does happen, especially with an epic film. Like that movie is an epic kind of a film, as are the Star Wars films. But sometimes they're far more subtle, and they really do contribute. The primary contribution of them is to give you an emotional conveyance. Yeah. Not a manipulation, but an emotional conveyance. And oftentimes you don't even realize that's what's happened. Yeah. Is that it's in a great score, you don't. We recognize that because we've been watching movies so long and care about it so long that I remember watching There Will Be Blood, and when they have the scene where they're trying to put out the fire, I had already been paying attention to the score, and at that point, when the score started, he started doing the drums and moving the stuff, I was like, okay, the nominations for sure, because this just is so perfectly matching the feeling that we're seeing right now. And it's it makes me want to talk to Pedro Eustache. If you don't know who Pedro Eustache is, look him up on Instagram. His last name is spelled Eustache. Pedro is a friend of mine who has been doing music for a very, very long time. He's considered one of the greatest, if not the greatest, woodwind players on earth. And he's been working with Hans Zimmer and John Williams and all of these great names. I think he's probably worked with A.R. Rahman. I'd love to talk with him because you name it, he's done it. He did Dark Knight. He did Game of Thrones. He just did the Wonder Woman film. He's constantly, and he's always touring with Hans Zimmer. He did Interstellar. And I would really love to know, I've never asked him this. He's told me about his experiences working with John Williams for the first time and his relationship with Hans. But I would love to know how often he gets to improvise versus gets to work on what's been written. Like every woodwind you hear in The Passion of the Christ is Pedro. And I'd love to know what composers are regimented and they want it written exactly the way it's done, and how often they match. A lot of the times you see them doing the music and they have written not just what they've written for the aesthetic, but they're writing it to match on the screen. So the whole orchestra is sitting down and the screen is up there and there's a counter and everything's been written according to what they're seeing up on the screen. It's an extraordinary gift.
Yeah,
to do that.
He's obviously a really good person to talk to about knowing all that stuff. If he knows A.R. Rahman.
Yeah, I'm going to ask him. Because when we did our interview, when I knew we were interviewing Ustad Zakir Hussain, I emailed him and said, did you work with him? And his response was, he used the Ustaji part of it. He said, I've never worked with him, the Ustaji master, but obviously everyone in music knows who he is. And I wish, because he worked a lot with Ravi Shankar, so it's strange that they've not worked together yet.
Interesting.
Yeah, but I'm going to ask Pedro if he's worked with A.R. Rahman.
Well, yeah, another great video.
Do it now.
Let us know what other videos we should react to down below.
Dadin tinta, tinta, dadin tinta, tinta, dina, 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 dinta, dina, tuna, katta, dina, dinta, dinta, tuna, katta, dina.